I live a pretty straight-laced lifestyle. No drugs, no alcohol, so I can say with complete certainty that what I saw and heard last New Year's Eve wasn't a hallucination or the result of being drunk. It was real. I live on the outskirts of your typical small southern town, and some of my friends live even further out in the deep backwoods only, accessible by narrow, winding country roads. One of those friends is Darren. He and his family live in one of the wealthier neighborhoods in the area, which, despite its upscale houses, is still tucked deep in the woods and only reachable by those same dark roads. Every year, Darren's family throws a New Year's Eve party and invites a bunch of friends. I always look forward to it, especially when I get formal invitation in the mail from his parents. Now, southern winters can be unpredictable, and it didn't get cold until just a few days before the new year. I remember the ride to Darren's place vividly. The freezing air and rough, poorly maintained roads made for a miserable drive. Normally, I avoid using my brights because I hate blinding other drivers. But that night, the road was so darkened, twisted, I had no choice. Thick trees lined both sides. And even with my brights on, visibility was awful. There are no houses between the roads, Turnoff and Darren's neighborhood, just one old shack that looks long abandoned still. I've seen lights, one inside, before, which always creeped me out a bit. A few minutes into the drive, as I got closer, I realized it was a woman in a white dress just standing at the edge of the road with her back to the woods. She wasn't hiding, she wasn't moving, just standing there. The dress looked like a gown, definitely not something you'd wear in that kind of cold. I didn't turn off my brights, so I couldn't make out her face through the glare, but I was grateful she didn't step into the road. Still, as I passed her, I wondered, should I have stopped? Maybe she needed help. Maybe she was headed Toth, same party. But then I checked my rearview mirror. In the red glow of my brake lights, I saw that she had turned to face me, still not moving, just watching. That's when the unease really hit. I made it to the party around 8 p.m., parked in the gravel loop with a dozen other cars, and tried to shake off the feeling. Darren's house, like others in the neighborhood, was in a big clearing surrounded by forest. We rang in the new year, first with a ball drop in New York, then our own countdown. By 1 a.m., people started to head out. I stayed to help clean up, as I usually do, and by the time I left, my car was the last one parked out front. That's when I noticed the low tire pressure warning. Tire, or how bad it is buffly, happens sometimes when the weather first turns cold. I figured I'd be fine too. Drive home. Then I remembered the woman. Was she still out there? Had anyone else seen her? I had the option to take a longer route home, a 20-minute detour, but it was late. I was tired, and the roads would be full of drunk drivers. Against my better judgment, I went back the same way I came. I really wish I hadn't. Not even 5 minutes into the drive. Something felt ... off. I could hear it too. A scraping sound, like metal against pavement. Then my car stopped. Just like that, cursing under my breath. I got auto check. I made the mistake of turning the engine off, which shut off the headlights, plunging me into total darkness. Only my phone flashlight gave me any visibility, and what Ty saw made my stomach drop. All 4 tires, all of them, were shredded, torn apart, like something with claws had ripped them open. One tire I could have explained, maybe 2 butyl 4. This was no accident. I stood there, stunned, phone in hand, no signal, no help. I was alone. Then, ... the wind stopped. The trees stopped swaying. The night animals went silent. It was like everything in the world just paused, and then snap, the unmistakable sound of a twig breaking. Something was out there. I turned off my flashlight immediately, standing still in the pitch black. Not a squirrel. This was the kind of silence that only comes when something is hunting. Then I heard it. A voice. I see you. Soft, calm, female, coming from just inside the tree line, no more than 15 feet away. It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. Somehow, that made it even worse. I was frozen. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. Then, can you see me? That's when my brain finally snapped into gear. I turned the flashlight back on, and that's when I saw her. The woman in the white dress. She was standing at the edge of the trees, just staring at me. Her gown was filthy, stained with something dark. Her skin was pale as death, her hair long and matted, and her face, God. Her face looked like half of her jaw was missing. Yet, she was still smiling. I stared for a heartbeat too long, then bolted. I didn't think. I just ran. I considered the Shakit was closer than Darren's. But what if that's where Esh came from? What if she lived there? I didn't stop. I just ran, my footsteps echoing on the road. Andy could hear twigs snapping behind me. Was chasing me, somehow, fueled by pure terror. I made it back to Darren's place. I skipped every other house and pounded on their front door until his mom opened up. She saw my face and let me in instantly. I told them everything, Darren. His parents, all of it. They believed me, or at least they believed. Something had happened. They called the police and a tow truck and let me stay the night. I called my family later. I just needed to sleep, or so I thought. That night, I woke up to a tap on the second-story window. I checked the clock, 3:14, no blinds. I stayed perfectly still. Then I heard the voice again, muffled through the glass. I see you. She had followed me. She had chased it all the way back. And now she was outside, throwing rocks to get my attention. I didn't move. I didn't sleep. I waited until the sun rose and Darren's family woke up. When we looked outside it together, she was gone, but in the yard. Just where I heard her voice, Darren's dad found something. A rusty, blood-stained knife. It wasn't theirs. The cops later told me no one lived in that shack. But they did find gutted animals in the woods around it. They never found the woman. I still don't know who or what she was. But the two questions that haunt me the most are, how did she follow me all the way to that house without anyone seeing her? And if she was missing part of her face, how hell was she able to speak so clearly? I'll be going to Darren's party again this year. But this time, I'm carpooling, and we're taking the long way around.